This is Fitness Blender's HIIT cardio and kettlebell workout. For this workout, we're going to start off with a quick warm-up, then we're going to go through a kettlebell and HIIT cardio combination workout, and finish it off with a nice cool down and stretch. The only thing you're going to need for this workout is a kettlebell or some other kind of weighted object. Let's go ahead and get ready to start into our warm-up. Our first exercise is going to be a boxer shuffle, and we'll be doing it for 30 seconds. Go ahead and start those feet up, just hopping back and forth, trying to stay up on those toes. Keep those lungs open, start relatively slow, and slowly warm yourself up, starting to get faster and faster as you go. Just 10 seconds left. Just keep those feet moving. Our next exercise is going to be a lateral hop. We've got just a few seconds left. And start up, going right into that lateral hop, making sure that trailing leg kind of swings back behind you. Let it touch the ground for a slightly easier version. If you want to make it a little bit harder, then keep that foot up off the ground. But remember, this is just a warm-up, so you don't have to push yourself too hard. Add that extra arm motion in there to help warm up that shoulder socket as well. Make sure all those muscles are nice and tensed. Get a little extra work out of them than you necessarily need to for this motion. Got just a few seconds left till we switch to butt kickers. And go ahead and switch off to those butt kickers. Get those heels coming up to that butt. Make sure you're moving those feet nice and quick, but this is still a warm-up, so you don't have to worry about moving too quickly. You want to just slowly increase that range of motion on that knee every single time you bring that heel up. So just take your time, slowly start bringing that heel higher and higher and higher, closer and closer to that butt as that quadricep and that knee start to relax a little bit and start to warm up some more. Got just a few seconds left until we switch over to the high knee hold. And go ahead and switch it. So this one is going to be an alternating jump on those feet. So just high knees back and forth. And on that every third one, you're going to bring that knee up and freeze it. Do a little bit of a hop on that foot that's still down and then start right back into it again. Just make sure that every single time you bring that knee up, you're trying to get it just a little bit higher than you did the time before. Trying to warm up that hip joint, trying to warm up that hip flexor. Just keep that motion going. Keep those lungs open. We've got just traditional deep squats coming up next. And switch it. So those feet just about shoulder width apart, maybe hip width apart, tiny bit wider if you want to, if it's more comfortable. Just dropping those hips down as low as is comfortable on that hip joint, making sure that back stays nice and flat. Even though you're not using any weight for this, you still want to practice good form by keeping a nice flat back. Just keep those lungs open. This doesn't have to be a really quick motion. If you want to make it slower, that's perfectly fine. The main thing is though, is just getting nice and low. We've got toe touch kicks coming up in just a couple seconds. And switch it. So one foot at a time, bring that foot up nice and high, leg relatively straight. You can have a little bit of a bend in that knee, but try to keep it pretty much straight. Reaching down with those hands towards that foot, trying to really stretch through that hip flexor again, trying to warm up that hip flexor, stretching that hip joint out, making sure those glutes stretch and that lower back stretches, all while standing up, making sure you're getting all those core muscles nice and tight as well by crunching forward just a little bit. We got jumping jacks coming up next. Just a couple more seconds. And start into those jumping jacks. Nice quick motion. Start relatively slow at first. Make sure that joint in that shoulder and that hip is nice and tight. All those muscles around there, keeping everything solid. Then slowly start speeding that motion up more and more and more as we get closer to the end of this warm-up. Just make sure all those muscles are tensed. You never want to have those arms or legs just kind of swinging around. Keep those lungs open. Almost done with this one. We've got walk downs coming up next. And switch it. Go ahead and reach down towards those toes like you're doing a regular toe touch. Then walk out with those hands into a full plank. Then slowly walk it back up to that toe touch and then stand back up to a full extension. Just keep alternating back and forth. Nice, slow, fluid motion. Trying to make sure you keep that form nice and solid. So when you drop into that plank, make sure that back stays flat. Make sure you don't let those hips droop or kick up too high. Got just a few seconds left until we move to an alternating lunge. And go ahead and let that one relax. Go ahead and switch off that alternating lunge, stepping out one foot at a time, straight in front of your body. Make sure you start with a relatively short step, and then as those legs start warming up, start doing a longer and longer step, start to challenge those legs a little bit more, really get those muscles warmed up. Again, keep those lungs open, keep that form for that lunge nice and clean, nice flat back, keep that torso pretty much straight up and down. Knees over top of that foot, making sure you're evening out that weight for your front and rear leg. Got fly jacks next, and go ahead and switch it. So this is almost like a jumping jack, but instead of bringing those arms up over your head, you're just going back and forth in front of your chest. Same motion with those legs, just hopping them in and out. Just time them with those hands, so as those feet come in together, those hands come together in front of your body. As those feet go out, those hands come out to your sides, straight out from your shoulders. Make sure that you don't let those arms stay in front of your body at all. You want to actually stretch those arms behind you as far as is comfortable on that shoulder. And let it relax. Let's go ahead and get ready for that next section. We're doing groups of 2 exercises in an AABB format, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, as well as a 1-minute interval of kettlebell exercise in between each group. So let's go ahead and get started with our first group, which is going to be a pop squat and a broad jump plus a thigh slap jump. Both of these are going to get you nice and tired really quick, so be ready to push yourself. We're going to be starting off with that pop squat here in just a couple seconds. And start it up. Nice quick motion. Squat down nice and low. Pop it up nice and quick. Hands come up over top of your head. Just keep that motion nice and fast. Make sure that all those muscles in your body are tensed. Make sure your lungs are open. Make sure you're keeping that back nice and flat for that squat. And let it relax. Good job. 10 seconds rest. Keep those feet moving. Keep those lungs open. Got another round of those pop squats coming up. And start them up nice and low. Pop it up. Get those hands over your head. If you want to add a little extra jump in there, get a little bit more distance off the ground, it's just going to make this exercise that much more difficult. Otherwise, just a nice short quick hop just like Kelly's doing. Got a few more seconds to go. And let it relax. Good job. Another 10 seconds of rest. We're switching over to the other exercise this time. So we've got broad jumps plus a thigh slap jump. So this one's going to be a little bit rough. Let's push through it. Go ahead and start. Nice long jump forward, then jump up, bring those knees up to those hands, then quickly turn around and jump right back the opposite direction, doing that thigh slap jump again. Just keep that motion going. Try not to take too long in between each one of these jumps. Just make sure that you're trying to get as much range of motion as possible. A nice long forward jump and bring those knees up. All right, go ahead and stop. Got 10 seconds rest until we do that same exercise over. Go ahead and get ready. And start up. Nice long jump forward. Quick jump. Bring those knees up to those hands. Turn around. Long jump back. Knees up to those hands again. Or you can do a nice high knee, a quick high knee motion like Kelly just did for a slightly easier modification. Just keep pushing through this. We got just a few more seconds to go. And let it relax. Another 10 seconds rest. We're switching back to those pop squats for another 2 rounds. So let's go ahead and get ready for that. Got a few more seconds, and start it up. Nice deep squat, hands down between those feet, then hop it up real quick with those hands over your head. Make sure this is a really quick motion, trying to get back up and down as quickly as possible. Still make sure you're keeping that back nice and flat, and keeping those lungs open. Under 5 seconds left. And let it relax. Good job. We have 10 seconds rest. We got 1 more round of those pop squats. And start up. Nice deep squat. Hands up over your head as those feet come in nice and quick. Get that motion going as fast as you can. Really try to push yourself on the cardio on this one. I know you're probably already tired. Those last exercises were pretty rough. But keep pushing through it. Try to keep those lungs open, moving as fast as you can. And let it relax. All right, 10 seconds rest. We're going to be switching back to that other exercise now. So the broad jump plus a thigh slap jump. A few more seconds. And begin. Nice long broad jump. Bring those knees up. A nice quick jump. Try to get those knees as high as you can. And then turn around, jump back the opposite direction, and then another thigh slap jump. Now remember, you can always swap out that thigh slap jump for those high knees if you want to make it just a little bit easier. But try to do those thigh slap jumps if you can. And let that one relax. Go ahead and rest a little bit here. We've got another round of those broad jumps and thigh slap jumps coming up next. And go ahead and start up. Nice long broad jump. Jump, get those knees up nice and high. Turn around. Nice long jump back. I know those legs are getting tired. I know your body's telling you to stop, but try to keep going as long as you can. Try to make sure you're moving as quickly as possible and getting as much distance on that broad jump, and bring those knees up as high as you can every single time. All right, go ahead and let it relax. It's the end of that group, which means we're going on to that kettlebell portion. So grab that kettlebell. We're doing a kettlebell swing for 1 minute straight. Go ahead and get ready. Pick that weight you need. And start up. 1 full minute of this. Make sure that back stays nice and flat. You want to get a nice quick snap with those hips. Pop those hips forward. Build that momentum into that kettlebell to swing it up to those shoulders. You actually want those shoulders to be doing relatively little work. It's mainly all driven from those legs to build momentum into that kettlebell and snap that kettlebell up nice and high. Just keep that motion going. Like I said, keep that back perfectly flat. Don't let your back round over and try to use that back to lift that kettlebell. It's all driven from those legs. We're a little over halfway. Check those lungs. Make sure you're breathing. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Check that lower back. Make sure that back is nice and flat. Make sure you're still getting a nice quick snap with those hips. Popping that momentum into that kettlebell, getting it up to at least shoulder height. Just 10 seconds left. Keep those lungs open. We're almost done. And let it relax. Good job. Go ahead and set that kettlebell down. You can get a little bit of a break here, but not much. All we need is to get ready for that next group of exercises, which is going to be a switch foot mountain climber and a lateral burpee. So let's go ahead and get ready for those. We're going to be starting off with that switch foot mountain climber first. Just a few more seconds to go. Let's get ready. And start it. Down into that push-up position. You're going to do a kind of a running position with those feet, just alternating them back and forth. One comes in, one goes out. Then you're going to come up onto that leg that's in front. Drive that knee from that rear leg up through as high as you possibly can. Then right back out again. Alternate those feet one more time and then right back up. And go ahead and let it relax. You got a 10-second rest here. Getting ready to do that same exercise over again. A few more seconds. And start it back up. Back down to that plank. Switch those feet. Drive that knee up nice and high. Then right back down again. Switching those feet again. Make sure you're moving as quickly as you can, but still with nice clean form. Just a few more seconds to go. Keep those lungs open. And let it relax. Good job. All right, we have our next exercise coming up, which is going to be the lateral burpee. So this one is just a traditional burpee, but when you come up to the top, you're just going to move to the side, do a side jump, and then drop back down into that regular burpee. Do that lateral jump in the middle rather than jumping straight up. But same motion otherwise for regular burpee, just kicking those feet back out behind you, and then coming right back up to that standing position. And let it relax. Good job. That's your first round of those done. Got one more of those lateral burpees coming up. Go ahead and get ready. And start up. Lateral jump, go out to that burpee. Make sure you kick those feet out really nice and far. You don't want to just do a little half jump. You want to try to get those hips nice and low, really stretching those feet out back behind you every single time. Come back up and a nice wide jump to the side before you start into that next burpee motion. Almost done. And let it relax. Good job. You got 10 seconds rest, and we're switching back to that switch foot mountain climber. Let's go ahead and get ready. And begin. Down into that plank position. Alternate those feet. Drive that knee up. Switch those feet. And then drive that other knee up. Just keep that motion going, alternating back and forth. Move as quickly as you can, keeping that coordination under control. Make sure you're not letting those legs swing around either. Got just a few more seconds to go. Keep those lungs open. And let it relax. All right, got one more round of those. Go ahead and get ready. And start up. Back down to that plank position. Driving those feet back and forth. Pull that knee up really nice and high every single time. This is a little bit challenging for that balance, but make sure you're trying to move smoothly and under control the entire time. Just keep those lungs open. And go ahead and let that one relax. Keep those feet moving. It's the last one of those, which means we're moving back to the lateral burpees. Keep those lungs open and start it up. The feet go straight back behind you as far as you can possibly reach with them. Then come back up to that standing position. Do that nice wide lateral jump. Just keep that motion going. Keep those lungs open. Nice and quick. Nice full complete range of motion. Just a few seconds left. And let it relax. Good job. We got one more round of those. Try to keep those feet moving. It's a few seconds till we start. And start up. Out of that full burpee, kick those feet back nice and far. Come back up. Nice wide lateral jump. And right back down again into that burpee. Just keep those lungs open. Keep that movement going. Just a few more seconds to go. Keep pushing through it. And let it relax. Good job. We've got our next kettlebell exercise coming up next, which is going to be a clean and press. We're doing 1 minute on each side. So we're actually doing this for 2 minutes straight. So this is going to be nice and fun. So go ahead and grab the weight you need for this one, and let's get ready. And start it. Nice quick hop up to that shoulder. Nice quick hop from that shoulder up straight over top of your head. Nice and slow, let it back down. Then start that whole thing over again. Make sure that back stays perfectly flat the entire time. Using those legs to drive momentum into that kettlebell to pop it up to that shoulder. And again from that shoulder overhead. Just keep checking that body. Make sure everything's really nice and rigid. No relaxed muscles. You want those core muscles really nice and tight with a perfectly flat back the entire time. Never let that lower back round. Keep those lungs open. Just make sure you're still breathing. Don't hold your breath when you're doing these exercises. The more tired you get, the more you're going to want to use that hop motion with those legs to power through it with those legs. Got 10 seconds left to go. 5 more seconds. And let it relax. Good job. Go ahead and set that kettlebell down for just a second. You got 10 seconds rest. Then we're going to do that same minute on the other arm. Go ahead and grab that kettlebell. And start it up. Pop it up to that shoulder. Then from that shoulder overhead. Again, keep those lungs open. Keep that back nice and flat. Make sure everything is controlled. All those muscles through your body are nice and tensed. Even that arm you have out in front of you for a little bit of balance and a little bit of support, make sure that arm is nice and rigid as well. Just keep going through, mentally checking your body, making sure every single part of your body is under control, making sure you're not letting anything relax. Just keep those lungs open and keep that motion going. Alright, it's about 15 seconds left. Make sure you run through that body again. You're still checking everything. Make sure that back stays flat. Make sure those lungs are open, not holding your breath. And you're getting a really nice quick snap motion up to that shoulder and then from that shoulder overhead. And let it relax. Good job. Go ahead and let that kettlebell drop back down to the ground. Take a little bit of a break here. If you want a little extra break, you can always hit pause. But otherwise, we'll be starting back in just a few seconds. Alright, the next two exercises in our next group are going to be a high plank twist and a switch foot jump. So these are two a little bit more technical, especially the high plank twist. The switch foot jump is really nice and easy just to keep that cardio up. So we're going to be starting off with that high plank twist, so out in a push-up position. You're going to be dropping off to one hand, squeezing down towards those feet with those hips, but don't let those knees or legs touch the ground. Then come back out to that plank position and do the same thing on that other side. So rotate onto that other hand, rotating your hips to the opposite direction. We've got just a few more seconds to go. And let it relax. Good job. You got about 10 seconds rest before we start back into that same exercise again. Go ahead and get ready. And start up. Same exact thing. Coming up onto one hand, pushing back into those feet, trying to keep those hips and legs up off the ground still. Then coming back out to that full plank, and then alternating onto the other side, doing the same thing, just twisting those hips the other direction, coming onto that other hand. It's got a few more seconds to go. Keep those lungs open. And let it relax. All right, go ahead and stand back up. Let's get ready for our next exercise, which is going to be that switch foot jump. And start up. Just a nice quick motion, just popping those feet back and forth, kind of like a lunge position, but not really dropping those hips much. Just kicking those feet back and forth, nice and quick, as far apart as you can, without really bending that knee much. Just keep that torso straight up and down, keep those lungs open, keep all those muscles through your body nice and tensed. And let it relax. Good job. Keep those feet moving. Got about 10 seconds till we start that same thing over again. Go ahead and get ready. And start up. Get those feet moving nice and quick. Popping them back and forth. Rotating those shoulders back and forth just a little bit to help a little bit with momentum to get those feet moving. Just try to keep moving as quickly as you can, barely letting the ball of that foot touch the ground before you're snapping those feet back in the opposite direction. And let it relax. Keep those lungs open. Recover as best you can. We're going to be switching back to that high plank twist. Get ready. And begin. Sitting back into those heels. Rotating those hips off to the side with just one hand supporting your body weight. Just keep alternating back and forth. Keeping all those muscles through your core, legs, and upper body nice and tense to get this one done. This is definitely a full body exercise. Just keep those lungs open. We're almost done. And let it relax. All right, another 10 seconds rest, and we start back into that same exercise. Go ahead and get ready. And start it back up. Rotating those shoulders and those hips. Making sure you're keeping everything up off the ground. The only thing that should be in contact with the ground is that one hand and those feet. Just keep alternating back and forth. Keep those lungs open. Nice full range of motion. Got a few seconds left to go. And let it relax. Good job. Go and stand back up. We got those switch foot jumps coming up next. Go ahead and get ready. And start them up. Nice quick motion. Popping those feet back and forth. Move them as quick as you possibly can. Barely letting that foot touch the ground before you're trying to bring it back in the opposite direction. Keep those core muscles nice and tight. Really focusing on speed and control. Got just a few more seconds to go through. And let it relax. All right, got one more round of those switch foot jumps. Go ahead and get ready. And start up. Get those feet moving nice and quick. Keep those lungs open. Keep those core muscles nice and tight. Keep everything under control, just moving as quickly as you possibly can. Just a little bit longer. Just 5 more seconds to go. And let it relax. Good job. All right, we've got our next kettlebell exercise coming up next, which is going to be an around the world. Let's go ahead and get ready. Go ahead and grab that kettlebell. Pick the weight you need for this one. And start up. Swing that kettlebell. Nice big circle around your body. Making sure all those core muscles are nice and tight. Keep those feet stationary. Keep a slight bend in your knee, slight bend at that hip, but make sure that chest is perfectly straight up and down and that lower back does not bend. All that motion be coming from only those arms, making sure that that body is contracted nice and tight, keeping everything else almost perfectly stationary. That body's going to have a little bit of wobble to it, but all of that wobble should be coming from that ankle, so that entire body's moving rather than just part of that body. So go ahead and switch the direction of that circle, going around the opposite direction this time. Still, same thing applies. Keep those core muscles nice and tight. Keep those arms nice and tight. Keep those legs slight bend. Make sure those lungs stay open. All that wobble coming from that ankle. So just kind of leaning back and forth to counterbalance that kettlebell. Just a few more seconds to go. Keep going. Keep that kettlebell moving nice and quick. And let it relax. Good job. Go ahead and drop that kettlebell back down. Got our next group coming up, which is going to be a lateral jump plus 3 knees and then a double burpee. So we're going to be starting out with that lateral jump plus 3 knees first. So go ahead and get ready for that one. We'll be starting up in just a few seconds. And start up. That nice wide lateral jump, and then that trailing leg is going to do 3 real quick pumps like a stationary runner. Then you're going to jump to the other side, so that opposite leg does that same 3 pump motion. Just keep moving back and forth. Make sure you're moving as quickly as you can. It's going to be a little hard for balance, especially with that lateral jump in there, but that's all part of the challenge. And let it relax. Get those feet moving for that boxer shuffle. Just keep those feet moving on that rest. We're going to be doing that lateral jump in 3 knees again for this next round. Let's go ahead and get ready. And start again. Nice wide jump. That trailing leg does that 3-leg pump. Same thing over the other side. Make sure you're really squeezing that leg, making sure you're moving that knee as quickly as possible, driving it up in front of you as much as you can, as well as getting a nice quick motion out of it. And go ahead and let that relax. Keep those feet moving. Let's get ready for our next exercise, which is going to be that double burpee. And start up. Kick it out just like a regular burpee, but you're going to do it twice, and then come up to that jump at the top, and you're going to do that twice. So basically each separate section of that burpee, you're just going to repeat twice. So 2 of those leg extensions, 2 of those jumps, and then right back down into those 2 leg extensions. And let it relax. Good job. That's your first round of those done. Just keep those feet moving. Got 1 more coming up. Go ahead and get ready. And start up. Drop it down. 2 quick leg extensions. Then back up with 2 quick hops. Then right back down again for those leg extensions. Just make sure you're keeping everything under control. Nice quick motion the entire time. Keep focusing on getting a full range of motion with each one of these. Try not to shorten that range of motion at all because you're doubling it up. And let it relax. Good job. You got another round of those double burpees coming up. Go ahead and get ready. And start up. Kick those feet out and jump. Keep those core muscles nice and tight. Keep those lungs open. Whatever you do, don't stop moving. Try to keep that body moving as quickly as you can. You only have a few seconds left to go, so keep pushing through it. And let it relax. Good job. All right, we're moving back to that lateral jump plus 3 knees. So go ahead and get ready for that. We got a few more seconds to go. And start up. Nice wide jump. That trailing leg pumps up 3 times. Nice quick high knee motion. Then jump off to the other side. Do the same thing with the other leg. Keep those lungs open. Keep those core muscles tight. Make sure you're trying to keep those hips relatively low. Nice wide jump every single time. And let it relax. Your first one down. You got 1 more to go. Go ahead and get ready. And start up. Nice quick wide motion. Nice fast 3 pump with that leg. Nice wide jump off to the other side. Another 3 pumps with that opposite leg. Keep those lungs open. Keep that body moving. And let it relax. Good job. Keep those feet moving. A little bit of a boxer shuffle. Go ahead and get ready for that next exercise. Going back to those double burpees. And start up. Keep those lungs open. Keep those core muscles nice and tight. 2 quick extensions with those feet. 2 quick jumps at the top. Just keep it going. Almost done. And let it relax. You got 1 more round of these. I know those legs are burning like crazy. I know those lungs are probably burning like crazy, but keep pushing through it. This is your last round of this exercise. Let's go ahead and get ready and start up. 2 extensions with those feet and 2 jumps at the top. Just keep going. Nice full extension with those legs. Nice high jump at the top of that range of motion. Just keep pushing through it. Nice full range of motion. Keep those lungs open. We are almost done. Under 5 seconds left to go. And let it relax. Nicely done. All right, find that kettlebell. We're going to be moving on to a lunge with a static press next. So we're going to be holding that arm fully extended above that head the entire time. So go ahead and grab that kettlebell, whichever weight you want to be using for this one. Full extension of that arm, get it straight above that shoulder, keep it up there, and then same leg stepping out over and over again. We're doing a full minute on this, just like all the rest of the kettlebell exercises. So nice full step, nice long lunge. The further you lunge forward with that foot, or the further you step forward with that foot, the more that leg is going to have to work. Just keep pushing through it. Make sure when you step out, you're keeping your weight evenly dispersed between your front and your rear leg. Don't let your weight shift forward onto only that front leg. Make sure that back stays perfectly straight up and down, and those lungs stay open. We're just a little over halfway, so just keep it going. Check that form 1 more time. We've got about 10 seconds left to go. Check that back. Make sure it's nice and flat. Make sure you're taking a nice long step every single time. And let it relax. Good job. Let it drop for just a second. We're going to do the same exact thing with that other arm. So extend that other arm straight up over top of that shoulder. Let's go ahead and get ready. And start up. Same exact motion, just with that opposite leg coming forward this time. Again, try to make sure you're taking a nice long step, and definitely try to make sure you're at least matching the length of step that you did on the opposite side. You don't want to take a shorter step on one side than the other, because that'll actually create a muscular imbalance, a strength imbalance. So make sure that you're trying to mimic your motions identically from left to right. Nice long step, weight distributed evenly between your front and rear leg, back perfectly flat, lungs open. Make sure that arm above your shoulder is locked out, or at least almost completely locked out. You don't want to have to use more muscle control for that upper body or for that arm as you have to. So really try to make sure you're keeping it as extended straight as possible. Go through and check that form one more time. We're almost done with this. Just a few more seconds to go. And let it relax. Good job. That was the end of that portion of the routine, which means all we have left to do is our cardio burnout round and a little bit of a cool down and stretch. So we're going to be jumping into that here in just a second. Let's go ahead and get ready for our first exercise, which is going to be high knees. We're going for 20 seconds. Start it up. Get those knees up there really nice and high. Try to get them to at least hip height if you can, higher if possible. Just nice and quick, barely letting that foot touch the ground before you drive that knee right back up again. Got just about 5 seconds left. There's no rest on this. We're just going right into the next exercise, which is going to be jumping jack. So go ahead and switch it. Nice full range of motion jumping jack. Keep those arms almost completely straight. Just a very slight bend in that elbow. Try to get those arms straight up over those shoulders and back down to your sides. Nice quick motion, keeping everything nice and rigid. Next one coming up is going to be butt kickers. And switch it. So get those heels coming up towards that butt. Really nice and quick. Barely let that foot touch the ground before that heel comes right back up again. Just keep those lungs open. Don't hold your breath. Since we have no rest on this one, you've got to keep those lungs open. We've got just a few more seconds, and then we're going to switch off to fly jacks. Remember, this is with your hands in front of your chest. And start up. So those hands come back and forth from in front of your chest to out to your sides. Nice quick motion with those feet, just like a regular jumping jack. Just keep those core muscles and those arms nice and tight. Few more seconds and we're going to switch to a box or shuffle. And switch it. Just get those feet moving. Don't let them stop. Keep those lungs open. We're starting to slow it down just a little bit here. Got a few more seconds to go. Got toe touch circles next. And switch it. So standing with those feet just a little wider than shoulder width apart. Start in that center, drop it down, make a nice big swooping motion up across the other side, pause at the top again, and then back down the other side. Just keep alternating back and forth, nice slow controlled motion. We've got torso twist coming up next. And let it relax, go and switch that torso twist. So standing straight up, just rotating those shoulders back and forth. Try to keep those hips pretty much stationary, pointing straight forward. Just rotating those shoulders from left to right as much as you can without letting those hips twist. We've got march in place coming up next. And go ahead and switch that march in place. So this is kind of like a slow high knee, but don't worry about bringing those knees up quite so high. If you want to make it a little bit harder, then go ahead and bring that knee up really nice and high to that hip height or higher. Otherwise, just barely off the ground, just kind of marching in place. We're going to switch over to that cool down next. So this is just going to be just a regular stretch, a regular toe touch. So feet, again, just about shoulder width, hip width apart, a little bit wider if you want. Then stretch it straight down. If you want to get a little extra shoulder stretch in there, you can pull those hands back behind your back like Kelly's doing. Otherwise, just reaching down towards those toes. Just keep those lungs open. Slow let that heart rate drop back down. We're going to switch over to an inside thigh stretch. So kind of squat down on one leg. The other leg's going to be kicked out nice and straight. Lean towards that straight leg a little bit to try to really push that leg down. Stretch out the inside of that groin. Then switch over to the other side. Same exact thing, just squatting down on that heel, stretching that straight leg out as far as you possibly can, kind of leaning towards that straight leg to stretch the inside of that hip. We're doing a chest stretch next, so grab an open wall if you have one handy, fingers facing back behind you, rotate that chest away from that hand. If you're feeling it more in your bicep than your chest, then just rotate that arm a little bit until you feel it just in that chest. And go ahead and switch sides. That other hand comes up against the wall, rotate back, fingers facing straight back behind you, hand about the same height as your shoulder. Just keep breathing normally, keep those lungs open. We've got a hip flexor and tricep stretch coming up next. So stretching forward kind of into a lunge position, but that rear leg is going to stay straight to stretch out that hip flexor. Then you're going to bring that same arm as leg up back behind your head, kind of pulling that elbow back behind your head, reaching back towards that same shoulder as arm to try to really stretch out the back of that arm. You're going to switch sides, so that opposite leg comes out. Again, keep that rear leg straight back behind you to stretch that hip flexor on that side. That arm on that same side of that leg, you're going to bring that hand back towards your shoulder and pull that elbow across behind your head. Almost done with this one. We've got a quad stretch coming up next. So one foot back up, grab with that same hand as foot, squeeze that heel to your butt as much as you can and pull that knee back behind you. Should feel that stretch all across the front of your thigh, maybe even a little bit into the front of that hip. Hold it just a little bit longer. If you need a little extra balance, you can always grab that wall or some other kind of object to help you stay balanced. Just going to switch legs. Same exact thing on the opposite side. Heel to butt, pulling that knee back behind you, keeping that torso straight up and down. Just a little bit longer. Keep those lungs open. We're going to do a walk down to a cobra and a child's pose. So slowly walk down, all the way down, flat against that ground, then slowly arch that chest up for that cobra pose. Stretch that chest back as far as you possibly can, really arch it. Then slowly sit back into those heels, those hands stretching away from you as far as you can. Should feel that stretch through your lower back, hip, and even into that front of that shoulder. Slowly back down, flat against the ground. Arch that chest up again, back into that cobra pose. Slowly back down and sit back into those heels. Stretch those hands away from you as far as you can, sitting back in those heels as much as you can. Just breathing normally, trying to let everything relax. Come up to a full plank, then drop into a modified pigeon pose, one leg crossed in front of your body, leaning forward onto that leg, the other leg still extended straight back behind you. Just lean forward onto that leg as much as is comfortable. Just breathing normally. Again, trying to let everything relax, trying to get a little bit of stretch through that leg you have tucked in front. So we're going to do a little bit of a modified one here. So you're going to sit back up nice and straight, grab that leg back behind you, kind of pull it in nice and tight. Get a little extra stretch of that quadricep and let it back out. We're going to switch sides. That leg goes back out. The other one tucks in front. So one leg extended out back behind you. That other leg tucked in front of your body, laying across that leg as much as you can, as much as is comfortable. And come back up for that pigeon pose, that leg pull. So that modified pigeon pose, grabbing that leg, pulling in nice and close, opening that chest up to the side just a little bit. Trying to get that torso pointing straight up and down. And let that one relax. We're going to do a hip stretch next. So those feet close together, about a foot away from your groin, and then lean forward. Relatively flat back. You want to feel this stretch down inside that hip socket. And the more you flatten that back, the more you should feel it there. We've got a single leg hamstring stretch coming up next. So one leg out nice and straight, the other leg tucked in. Just stretch down on that leg as straight as you possibly can. Both those hands going down towards that toe. If you can't reach it, that's perfectly fine. Just stretch down as far as you can while still keeping that leg nice and straight. And lean away from that straight leg. So we're going to lean across that opposite leg this time. Still keeping that other leg straight out. Keep those lungs open. And switch which legs you have out. So that opposite leg's going to go out, the other one's going to tuck in. Start again on that straight leg first, stretching down on that hamstring as far as you can, as far as is comfortable. Reaching down towards those toes. Keep that chest facing down towards that leg. Keep that leg as straight as you can. And let it relax. You're going to switch over to the other side. So cross that bent knee this time. So laying across that bent knee. Again, keep those lungs open. Just let everything relax. We're going to switch over to a deep glute stretch next, so laying flat on your back. One leg crosses over top. You're going to grab behind that leg on that thigh. Make sure you don't grab behind that knee. You want to actually be on that thigh. Just pull it in as close as is comfortable. Squeezing it in. You should feel this stretch in the leg that is crossed over top, not the one you're holding on to. Let's go ahead and switch sides. We're going to do the same thing on the other leg. So grab behind that thigh, that opposite side of the leg crossed over top. And we're going to switch to a torso twist. So laying flat on your back, one leg is going to cross over top. You're just going to lean that knee over towards the ground, so rotating those hips while still trying to keep those shoulders flat against the ground. So the more you keep those shoulders flat against the ground, the more of a stretch you're going to feel through that torso. Go ahead and switch over to the other side. That opposite knee comes across, rolling those hips to the other direction. Making sure, again, you're trying to keep those shoulders flat against the ground. We're almost done. This is our last stretch right here. We're going to do a nice full body stretch. So arms and legs out in the opposite direction, flat against the ground. Take a nice deep breath in. Arch that back up as you press those hands and feet in opposite directions. And exhale, let it relax for just a second. Then again, inhale right back up again, stretching those hands and feet in opposite directions, really arching that back up nice and high. And let it relax. Good job. That was our last stretch, which means this workout is complete. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.